Hey everyone. So I am walking back home after leaving my pharmacy and getting my meds, and I wanted to talk about exercise today and kind of the mindset around that and some guilt that some of us may have about all this. So, back in 2010, I apologize, I'm walking, so there's going to be car sounds in the background. But back in 2010, I was told when I first got diagnosed with CRPS that if I didn't use it, I would lose it. And at the time, before I wanted to get my leg amputated, that sounded like a pretty big deal to me. So, since I was always very active, I made sure to continue walking and running and just doing whatever I wanted as long as my leg didn't get too out of control with the pain. So, um, of course, we are going to fast forward till now, where I am still trying to work out. Now, my CRPS is located in my left hip and it goes all the way into my left foot. So, my entire left leg is infected or, um, I don't know, cursed with this lovely condition. So, it's really hard for me to work out, but I try anyways. And I stick to low impact exercises like walking and I don't even know what to call them, but there's tons of exercises out there that are low impact. And with my hip replacement, it's kind of a requirement. And also, I have a weight limit restriction on me, so I can't lift more than 20 pounds. So for me, that actually means a whole lot because um, as somebody who used to be very active when they were little and ran track and cross country, it bothers me that I can't do more with my body. It really bothers me that even though 20 pounds feels very light, that I can't lift more. And I know we can do more reps, I know we can perform longer, but there's also this guilt that if I continue to do it, what am I doing to my body? How much pain am I going to be in later? And anybody with CRPS or any kind of chronic pain understands that's a huge deal. Like, we have an entire day to plan out, and a lot of it revolves around our pain, right? We talk about how the pain affects us physically, but it also affects us mentally. There's this constant voice in my head. I don't know if you guys have it or not. That kind of reminds me all the time that I got to make a decision here. Am I going to do my dishes and risk being in pain before I go to work? Am I going to spend time washing my bathroom and cleaning the bathroom up when it requires certain activities that, well, hurts? So there's that whole mental cycle that I go through, and it kind of starts with guilt. And it kind of comes from this idea that I could be or should be doing better. And I heard from a friend of mine that could and should are just shameful, just shame attaching itself as guilt. And it kind of makes sense, but it also makes me feel even worse because it's like, oh, okay, so now I'm just not loving my body anymore and I'm just being super shameful and ungrateful because how dare I not want to do more for myself, right? So I decided to look at it in a different way. And I heard this quote a long time ago that 1% do better than 1%, do 1% better than you did the day before. And I can't remember who said it, but it's a beautiful quote. And I used to be like, okay, cool, I can do that. I can do 1% better. But then I realized that was also really giving me this sense of guilt all the time because it's like, well, yesterday I felt fine. My pain, I wasn't having a flare up, so I could clean the whole house and be okay with it. I also wasn't working, the kids were at school, blah, blah, blah. So when I couldn't do better the next day, I felt like poo. So I decided to find another way of looking at things because I'm telling you to have a positive mindset when you're in crucial pain all the time, like having chronic physical pain is very detrimental to your mental health. And I feel like we need to learn to find a way to get around that. So one way I look at it is do at least your 100%, not 100%. This is not comparing yourself to anybody else, but to do your 100%. So if you wake up that day and you start off at 50% and you give it all your 50%, that's 100%. If you wake up and you're feeling 100%, but then the next moment you're having a flare up because of the weather or whatever, and so you can only give it 30%, give it your 30% and be okay with that. I think for a lot of us, we like to compare ourselves to not just everybody else, but to our older selves. And I think that really screws with our heads even more because it's like, I used to be able to do this. I used to be able to do this. And we have to start thinking about what can I do now and what can I do to improve myself in this moment. So love yourself, journal if you have to, and remember, um, if you work out and it's only at a 10%, but that's the best you can do, be grateful for it because that 10% could be your 100%. It could be somebody else's, 5%. So do your best, love yourself, and you guys remember that I'm here to support you. Bye.